if you are an actor, if you are in the guild SAG-AFTRA and you're thinking about dressing up for Halloween, just double check that that's okay, because they are still on strike.
Yes.
And the guild is saying you cannot dress up as a character from a struck project. And so the example I keep seeing is you can be Jacob Elordi as Elvis in Priscilla because A24 is clear, but you can't be Austin Butler as Elvis in Elvis because that's not cool. So just make sure you're like crossing your T's and all that.
This sounds like every Halloween costume I've ever done where I had to explain to people what it was. Just so we're clear, I'm doing this Elvis and not that Elvis. No, I get it, though, because, you know, the Paps love to take pictures of stars in their costumes. Mm-hmm. Like Heidi Klum has a whole second career of Halloween, I think. So I get, like, yes, if you're dressed as Barbie and Ken, you are promoting a Warner Brothers, you know, motion picture. But I think we'll do Dracula. It's public domain.
Yeah, the guidelines are like, you can be a spider or a ghost, but you can't be Spider-Man.
No,
or
you can't be Patrick
Beetlejuice.
Swayze in Ghost. Leave the
thing.
pottery wheel at home.
That's the thing. So I'm really curious to see how this shakes out. Yes, they are still on strike. Negotiations have broken down. One of the things that came out this week is that a bunch of A-list stars, including George Clooney, Ben Affleck, Scarlett Johansson, have proposed this thing that they think is going to end the strike, which is like people who make a lot more money pay more in dues than the rank and file working day actors. And that is not at all what this fight is about. Like, it kind of fundamentally misunderstands what people are on strike about. That's one thing that they're proposing to try to like break this up and assuage folks, at least in the short term. And then the other one is something to do with like residuals, and people who get paid the least get paid first, which is also not what they're fighting for. They're fighting for like long-term down the road credit and a piece of the pie. And, Fran Drescher, who is the SAG-AFTRA president, was like, no, this is apples and oranges. And some anonymous quote in the Variety story I saw was like, you can come walk the picket line. That's how you can help.
Exactly. Thank you, gajillionaires, but that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, some like totally like well-intended but misguided sense of noblesse oblige.
Exactly. Yes, very sweet of you to want to like throw some crumbs our way, but we're after the loaf. Is that's the difference here.
Alec Baldwin may get charged again in the Rust shooting, the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins, who died. It's like a year or so now, at least. The gun went off, and he has always said he didn't know what was going on with the gun. He didn't pull the trigger. That maybe he like cocked it back, but didn't pull the trigger, didn't know that it had been tampered with or whatever. Now prosecutors in the case are saying that there is new information that is leading them to most likely try to charge him again. More information involving the gun.
Now, this is about him as the person firing it and not him as the producer who is responsible for the hiring of the armorer.
Exactly. Yeah. Him as the actual person who had the gun in his hand at that moment. Gotcha. So we'll continue to follow that. We did not do news on Tuesday, so we did not get to follow up on Taylor Swift Eras Tour box office. It made almost $100 million in its first weekend. Yeah. It has now, as of this recording, made $123 million worldwide. Part of that, the interesting release schedule, everything is different about this movie. They're not showing it in the middle of the week.
Correct.
So if you want to go on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday to see this movie, you can't, because they're only showing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They want packed houses. They want a concert-like party atmosphere. And I guess I figure like an empty auditorium at the AMC in your neighborhood in the middle of the day is not what she's looking for.
Right. And I think also like part of the shtick of the Eras Tour itself was she was only performing on Friday, Saturday nights because so much of her audience is like, it's a school night, you know. Can't keep them out late when they've got, you know, algebra the next day. So I guess it's in keeping then with the overall, you know, focus of the tour. So, you know, and look, they're raking it in. So it's not like it's not like they're leaving money on the table. That's not happening.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And it's still got several weeks to go. So if you missed the opening weekend, you have many, many more opportunities. It has been at 100% on the tomato meter Until yesterday, when one brave critic dared to upset the Swifties. We've been saying all along, woe be unto the one person who dares to ruin this film's perfect score. You will never guess who it was.
Never in a million years.
Yes, Armand White, noted contrarian shitster film critic.
Yep.
Actually made a couple of good points in his review, but I don't agree with it at all as far as like her not being a good performer, her not being a good showman. Like, anyway.
He's on brand. I'll give him that.
He also accused Killers of the Flower Moon, which we have a review of out there, of being woke.
Oh, no.
I think we're going to probably end up seeing a lot of that. Yes, it's woke white guilt and people. It's 3.5 hours long of white guilt. So anyway, I just say,
fine, whatever.
On brand, yes. There's a new trailer out for Michael Mann's Ferrari, which comes out Christmas Day.
All of us are racers. So deadly passion.
Did you see Ferrari at Venice?
I did.
Okay. Can you say even a little bit about it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I published a review. Okay. It's good. I liked it. And really, weirdly enough, Penelope Cruz steals the show.
Oh.
She's extraordinary as Mrs. Ferrari. But no, it's really great. Like they very wisely, it takes place over about a year. So it's not like it's his entire life and, the first time he built an engine. Like it's this one specific moment in his career that kind of dovetails with Ford v Ferrari, because it's sort of about him, trying to, entertaining the possibility of outside investors and, this race that happens that it becomes like a very, a tragedy that befalls them. But Penelope Cruz, like I think we will be talking about her during award season.
She's good at her job.
She is good at her job.
Penelope Cruz. And then exciting news here in LA, or for folks who visit LA and want to go see a classic old movie palace, the Egyptian Theater is reopening.
Yes.
So exciting. It's a century old, a classic, beautiful building, and American Cinematheque had owned it, and now Netflix has bought it. And it's going to reopen November 9th with a showing of The Killer, with a Q&A with David Fincher live there at the theater. So you have to have been to the Egyptian before, yes?
Oh, me? God, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, because I moved back to LA in 99, which was right when the Cinematheque took it over. In fact, one of the first things I did when I moved here was I went to closing night of Outfest there to see Trick. But yeah, no, I've been there a lot over the years, and Outfest has done programs there, and we've done LAFCA stuff there, I think, and it was originally part of the Grauman's chain, so you had Grauman's Chinese, and then a block or two later you've got Grauman's Egyptian, and now both of those theaters have been revamped, and the insides have been really gutted and brought very up to date. Because of the TCM festival, they converted the booth there to be able to show nitrate films.
Ooh.
The really super flammable Cinema Paradiso ones. So the Egyptian's a great facility. I'm so glad it's going to be open again. And I think Netflix, even though they have bought it, is still letting Cinematheque use it like on weeknights or something.
Cool. Anyway, so if we have any reason to go there, we will go and we will shoot video and let you know all about it. But if you live here or if you are visiting, it's definitely a destination. Much more fun than like seeing all the various Jack Sparrows at Hollywood and Highland. It's just depressing. And then a couple of legendary actors left us recently. We did not get a chance to talk about them. Piper Laurie.
Yes.
91 years old. Talk about her for a second.
I mean, clearly best known for playing Carrie's mom in Brian De Palma's Carrie, and got an Oscar nomination for that. But, just such a deep career of stage, film, television. She was in The Hustler with Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason, but stayed active like throughout, until very recently. I mean, was still acting up into her 70s and 80s. She was part of the Twin Peaks ensemble. And in fact, after her character died, she returned playing a Japanese man for a good chunk of the season until it was revealed, no, it's me, Piper Laurie. She was amazing. And was at one point married to our colleague, Joe Morgenstern.
Yes. They have a child together. Yes. And Joe's a great friend of ours, of course.
Yes.
So RIP to Piper Laurie, a legend. And also Burt Young died at 83.
Another Oscar nominee for his unforgettable role as Paulie. He was nominated for the first Rocky movie, but I mean, let's face it, in all the Rocky movies, you love Paulie. Paulie and the Robot got cut out of the director's cut of Rocky IV, and a lot of people are not happy about that.
Tragic.
Stallone went in and took out all the robot scenes, which ate up a lot of Paulie performance, sadly. But yeah, he was one of those guys who just, there are certain character actors that walk on screen with a life lived in, just baked into who they are and how they present and how every word that comes out of their mouth and every line in their face. And he just seemed like this guy, and was a really talented actor and very accomplished. But just like the moment he appeared on screen, you were like, oh, this guy's seen some stuff.
Rest in peace, sir.